Today we're going to be playing Korea. What do you do as Korea? Well, I decided to try and turn them into a blobbing nation while still playing tall. This led to us being able to develop for very cheap while not costing us any of our ideas. To start off with, we're going to take 10% CCR from the government reaction just because it's 10% CCR. We're going to take 10% technology costs from our national ideas, but we're going to wait off on the other two for now. Well, the fort defense and the fort level one we probably won't take ever, but we're going to stab at once and then give out the admin advisors. This was kind of a waste because we had a stab advisor that we could have given out first to save a little bit of mana. We then give out some more privileges, mainly to do with loyalty, but prestige and 1% loans are always nice. We get a blessed starting event, giving us 100 admin and 100 mil. We then build the free company and delete our starting cav. At this point I didn't realise we had a truce timer with the boys in the north, so we probably should have done this a lot later. While waiting for our truce timer with the boys in the north, we keep being blessed with positive events. But once we get a general with 40 traditions, I didn't think much of it until I actually went to look at the general and realised we had a 4 siege. We get the event for the new heir, can't complain, at a 553. Once our truce time is up, we can begin expansion into the north. We're a little bit outnumbered on troops, but we're a militech ahead. After stack wiping Korchin's troops, we can piece them out by just carpet sieging them for ducats. AI don't register black flag troops, so we can easily just set up an ambush on our way back from Korchin. After stack wiping the troops, we just ignore what's going on in our own land and just go and siege them down for ducats. After finishing sieging them down, we can then piece them out for everything they got. For our first idea, we're going to go Diplo. Even though we are going to be playing semi-tall, we're still going to be getting wide ideas. We can then keep up expansion into our neighbours. Even though we're outnumbered 2 to 1, AI brains and the militech ahead means it's not going to be a problem. We take ducats from allies wherever we can't take land. At this point I realise Ming is at war with Oirats and have low mandate, so I'm going to cancel the tributary so I can attack them soon. We finish up our wars and then we begin war with Ming. They are regaining mandate, but we can change that pretty soon. We get the first couple of sieges completely uncontested by Ming because they're too busy fighting with the Oirats, but due to rebels being in our own country sieging down provinces that we're trying to core, we have to go back home. We also begin deving for the Renaissance, which is not something I like to do, but I doubt we're going to find another nation that's going to share knowledge with us. With our 20% province war score cost, we can take a massive chunk of Ming. Looking back at the run, I kinda wish that I took the mandate in the first war and then just spammed truce broke into Ming as you get cores on the land. We then secure a land border with Japan, so when we do come around to attacking them, we can move in without having to worry about landing navally. We then begin expansion into the Oirats who annex Mongolia shortly after starting the war. We also switch our advisors to try roll in the radical reforms that we haven't done so far. I'm never against taking Diplo super late, resulting in less than 300 mana. The Oirat war is a pretty easy war. As long as you get the fort and a good carpet siege off on the rest of the land, you should be able to piece them out pretty easily. For our second idea, we're going to take admin with the 25% CCR and also the 20% we can get from being Emperor of China. It's not ideal, but it will help in expansion later on. Our truce time is up with Korchin and we can't have them just living inside our borders. Radical reforms fires, which is something most of you probably are doing, but if you're not doing, you need to be firing this in your runs. Our truce timer is up with Ming and we can then begin to take the mandate CV. We are actually going to take the mandate this war. The mandate's actually pretty strong, and once you build prosperity in your nation and also get control of all the other 3 provinces needed, you actually can get positive mandate without even having any tributaries. It also gives access to the unified China CB, which getting cores on provinces you siege down in China. We're now going to begin expansion into Japan. We have the land bridge, which makes it easy for us to land all of our troops to begin the expansion. We leave a small stack of troops back in the homeland to deal with any rebels that may appear. We make sure to clear out all the annoying ships because we don't want them ruining our prosperity. The Daniels aren't really a challenge to fight, and most of them will just give up the troops for the easy stack wipe. In the peace deal, we make sure to snake a path to Kyoto. Not only for our mission, it also makes all the dinos independent, so when our truce time is up, we can fight them all independently. We then go to war with Oirats, who rudely interrupt our carpet siege, so we're forced to piece them out for just 90 war score. While our troops are over here, we might as well begin expansion into Chagatai. We thought it was clever trapping Chagatai's troops to get an easy stack wipe, but we didn't get the stack wipe, and now we have horde troops running around that you can never catch. We decided to go to war with the Tibet nations because we can't make our way to Kazan. We peace out Chagatai, leaving him as an OPM because it's just not worth the struggle to get the last province. We might as well take out Dali while we're waiting for our truce timers with other nations. While dealing with the rebel spam, we realised there was a province that was only 8 months left that we forgot to unsiege, so we quickly build a 1k stack to unsiege it. Now that our truce time is up with Ming, we can continue expansion, which is really easy at the moment as they're not fielding many troops. We can then take a massive chunk of Ming, and through the unified China CB we don't have to worry about coring it. We begin developing the colonialism just because there's no nations around us that can give it us. And then truce break Ming because I can't be bothered waiting for another truce timer. No one really cares about you attacking Ming. If I was to do this run again, I reckon this is something I would try and do from the very start and try and eat Ming in the first whatever years. Now that our truce time is up with Japan, we can begin expansion into all the daimyos separately. I think at this point it's important to note our income, our manpower and our force limits. Over the next 20 years we're about to start hitting our scaling. After fighting all the daimyos in the small alliance blocks, we now have a beautiful unified Japan. After dealing with most of the rebels that this caused, we're then going to pass the decree to give us 10% CCR. Once our leader dies, we get an event which lets us move our capital. We choose Beijing. I presume that's the best option from here. From here, we're not really worried about expanding too much and instead going to wait until we get religious ideas for the Devil's Fault CV. Considering that's going to be quite some time away, we're going to start the Golden Era and also pop our development missions which we've been storing at this time. This results in allowing us to develop provinces really cheap, as well as keeping our idea groups strictly focused for expansion for the later game. During this time, we're not really focused too much on expansion, but we do clean up the little bit of border gore we do have inside our borders. We're mainly focused on this time at building up. For our third idea, obviously we're going to go religious. Our decree is now giving 20% advisor cost as well as 10% CCR and development cost because of the completion of this mission. Now that we're nearly finishing religious ideas and it's getting to the point of expansion, we take out a bunch of loans so we can build GovCap buildings all around our country. Hopefully this fixes our GovCap issue which has been caused from development. Now that our religious ideas are completed, we are now ready to begin expansion. We have increased our manpower, income and force limit massively, but are nowhere near the limits of build up that we can reach by building even more buildings. I'm going to leave the run for here, but I've also started playing MP for the first time as I want to learn more aspects of the game. If this is something you would like to see, let me know in the comments below.